am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
Part two of this.
I could be here for another hour.
And I was talking to my class. There were only 2 of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Or call it Google.
Yeah. Alexa, how does he get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year-round, I might as well get paid year-round.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Talk. Thank you for joining us again. This is Dash 2. For those of you who don't know what that is, this is our second attempt at the same podcast, but we have fun when we do these. Some of you may notice that we're in a different location. We're not doing this by Zoom. Thanks to some visits from some of our guests today. They're down local with us, and we decided to come back to an old haunts. This is the studio where we first began a little bit over 3 years ago. And yes. Paul, who normally co-hosts this with me, is behind the camera and the audio with Jake Link, his superb assistant managing the audio and our video. So thanks for joining us. But he is mic'd up.
I am
and
mic'd
can
up.
respond. All right. So good to be back, and we're happy to have all of you join us. Joining us today here as our guests are 3 fine gentlemen from, let me see if I get this right, the Go Agency in Boise, Idaho, and we're here today to talk about drones, which is really exciting, and I'll tell you why a little bit later on. But let's get through some introductions first. We have Carson Woolery. Carson, you are the on-site or site operations manager, is that right? And we have James Starr, Director of Aviation. James Starr, that's awesome, and what a great name.
That is a great name. That's almost as good as Jake Link.
Almost as good, yeah. And Sam Jackson, your outreach lead, who's the one that I initially talked with to start setting this up. So welcome to Pocatello, gentlemen. Appreciate your coming on down. And we're going to start by asking you a little bit about what is the agency that you work for, and then maybe a little bit about what your key responsibilities are at the Go Agency. So can we start with you?
Yeah,
Carson?
yeah, that'd be great. And so the Go Agency, it's always really fun to talk about because there's a lot of different dynamics that really ties into our overall company. And so we have kind of 4 different companies within one that's all hosted by the Go Agency. And so we have, we really all started off with Go Out Local and GoOutLocal.com. And so this side of our company is really focused on everything community in all parts of Idaho. So we have a website that shows everything from what happy hours are around, different giveaways to go out to different local businesses and establishments to get you out in the community, as well as what events are happening in and around your area. And so with that, we really started seeing a lot of community growth, not only for our platforms, but then with the general public, really finding this as a good source to utilize to be able to see what's going on in different cities all around Idaho. And so with that started, we started becoming a marketing company. So with marketing, we're a full in-house service that we do social media management, web development, branding, so everything you could put a logo on, for instance, Sam's shirt or his hat, our shirts, and everything from business cards to really bottles if you want engraved your name or your logo on it. And then we also have a videography and photography team, so going out and doing all different types of videos, as well as photography, headshots, or just like really awesome food pictures. And with that, we also have our events department. So our events department, they curate about 56 events over a course of a year, so that goes everywhere from concerts, which we're doing down here quite heavily in Pocatello, and also marathons, community events like just little music festivals, as well as like events like Oktoberfest. And so with all that growth, and especially our growth in the events world, we kind of saw a new opportunity with the new drone technology to come out. And you've seen them kind of everywhere from the Super Bowl to some parts of the Olympics, as well as at large music festivals, for instance, EDC. And with that being said, we really thought this would be a good avenue for us to go down as well. And so we started getting into the drone game. When it comes to not, the normal remote control drone that you go out, even though our video team is really good with those, we really wanted to add a new dynamic not only to our events but to events all around the nation. And so we are one of six?
There's like 5 or 6 companies in the country that can do what we do.
Wow. That's a rich workplace, and you do a number of things. And you're based out of Boise, but you do have an office that you've opened up down here in Pocatello, right?
Correct. Yep. Right. So right now we're developing our Pocatello branch, and so as of right now we have 3 employees, and we continue to grow that more and more. And eventually, maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, we move up north as well, because the base and everything, as we're so grateful for how this company is developed, is because the community of Idaho, and good majority of us, I want to say about 90% of our company is local Idahoans. And so being able to provide this community in all different areas of whether it's entertainment, marketing services for local businesses, small to large, and just different opportunities to really engage themselves, the companies, and their attendees.
How cool. And he's going into an important area that we tie into a lot, and that's the workforce side too. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that this time. Carson, thank you very much.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
And James?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about you a little bit. How'd you get here? And you are the Director of Aviation, which is a cool title.
Yeah, well, Director of Aviation and Drones, so my acronym's DAD. When I was the oldest guy at the company, a lot of youth in our industry, and we started this process year and a half ago. About a year and a half ago, our CEO was inspired by a drone video. It was during all the stuff of the last few years, and they did a drone show in Philadelphia for the first responders, nurses, and it was just this big message in the sky. And he's like, I want to do that. And so we started that process. I've been with the company about a year and was kind of tasked with how do we get it set up. We had already made the initial purchase. Due to shortages in supplies, our drone delivery got delayed. Shortage of copper for motors or what have you. So we started the process of getting permits through the FAA. So with the FAA, you have to have waivers. Because we fly multiple drones and we fly at night, those are 2 big rules or laws that the FAA has. So you have to get a waiver to waive those laws, and that's quite a process. And the drone zone, which is the FAA's wing for UAS, are very helpful people. And they're like, well, that's not enough. We need more. How are you going to, it's all about mitigation of risk and safety, and how are you going to overcome this if this happens? And so a lot of research, a lot of studying, and our partners that we purchased the drones from helped us out a lot with that. It's not like you can go on YouTube and research how to start a drone company.
Right. It's a lot more complex.
And it's so very few and far between. So the first step is, you got to get your Part 107 license. So if you're flying drones for commercial or money, you have to have that. And that's, baby step 1. And then it's the licensing and registering and getting the drones, and then learning how to program. So the way our drones function, there's no remote control. We've done 50 drone shows. We've been a part of 600. We've down in Vegas for EDC our drones, and we partner with other companies, and we can rent them out. And hey, can we rent your drones this weekend? We have a show. We need to do a 400 drone show or a 600 drone show. So you have to program the show, and then it's uploaded wirelessly to each drone. Each drone has memory cards, and each drone has a specific path from the launch pad, and it's I don't know, what questions do you have regarding that? I mean, I'm just kind of talking. But...
No, those are great, and we'll come back to some of those
Okay.
questions. That is so complex. It's more than many people, myself included, would probably think about when you start looking at drones. Because I'm going to say some of us have this idea of drones are fun. You get to fly them out there, but there's a real culture, a real industry developing behind drones now, and you've got a piece of it. So I'm going to come back to you on that with a couple questions. Thank you very much. Okay, Sam, over to you. Outreach, that's what you do with the Go agency, right?
Yeah.
A little bit about you, please.
I focus primarily on the drone team. We have a separate team that focuses on the marketing side and sponsorships and stuff like that. So that's been a real blessing because, like we previously said, there's only 6 companies in the U.S. to be able to do what we do. And so there's a lot to capitalize on. So I'm constantly reaching out to music festivals, colleges, professional sports teams, I mean, you name it. And it's been really cool because I've gotten to talk to, people at Bass Pro Shop, right? And people that I wouldn't really think to ever talk to. And so just meeting with them, letting them know about our drone technology because it is so robust, and then the capabilities that can come with that, and marketing ramifications, because we focus on what we can do to bring more attention to either the sporting event, the music festival, whatever it is, because it's one thing to shoot up drones in the sky, but to have an ROI that's backed by the drones is a huge selling point, and a huge value added to those events.
Right, and that's incredible, and thank you for all that you gentlemen are doing. I mean, as a business, it may seem like it's all marketing and entertainment, but by being in the community and different things that you do, you really extend or leverage the ability of a community to now have other jobs, have people involved with stuff, serving, public safety, with crowd controls and such, search and rescue. I mean, we recently had an emergency medicine conference here where one of the medical experts who came and talked about using drones in search and rescue and service for medical care out in the forest. A climber gets hurt or something like that. How do you find them? How do you get stuff to them? How do you lead people there? It's things that we haven't thought about, or I haven't thought about, but I'm getting greater exposure to. You're achieving that as well, the awareness that you give to the community. Fun thing here, and maybe you have an answer for this. More and more, we're becoming sensitized to the 4th of July and fireworks and the danger from fireworks going different places. Drones would seem to be a really good substitute to do some entertainment instead of fireworks. Is that something you've experienced?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually went to a state fair conference in Reno in January, February.
Yeah.
And there was every state fair from California you could think of, and it's like, hey, fireworks are banned, fireworks are banned, fireworks are banned. It's not just the fire, but a lot of people are just getting tired of the noise. And I love fireworks just as much as the next guy, but it's, dogs or your cats or whatever. Like there's a lot of side effect from it. And so, how long they've been around for thousands of years, it's antiquated technology. It's amazing, but this is kind of a programmable drone show. And so we've been in contacts with a lot of places in the Northwest who've had their fireworks show canceled, and our drones are getting booked up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many in the country, and we're all booked up, and our partner companies are all booked up, and it's like, hey, so we're actually talking with companies about next year, like, you better lock it in now, whether it's like a ski resort or, down in California. So we're not just, local here in Boise, casinos we've worked with Vegas quite a bit, and then, state fairs all up and down California, Oregon, obviously Idaho. We're doing state fair. We're doing the North Idaho State Fair in Coeur d'Alene. We're doing the Western Idaho State Fair in Boise.
Wow.
We're doing Blackfoot's July 2nd at Jensen Park.
Okay.
And then we're doing Pocatello's 4th of July on the 4th. So we're going to be over here for the holiday weekend.
That's an amazing variety of things that you're getting involved with. And it brings me back to, originally, I got hooked into y'all when I saw a newspaper article here that said there were drones at a summer concert series out at our wellness amphitheater area, and I go, what is that? And we need to find out more, and that's what led to a series of contacts through through our admin staff, they found you for me, and then finally I got a phone call with Sam and go, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And that's led to this,
question.
you know, but it strikes me that you can be very, very busy. What is a typical day for you when you're putting on an event? You're here now, but you're having an event tonight, you know, so you must start early, you got to travel places, you're carrying stuff with you.
Well,
What's
there's
your
more
day
than
look
just
like?
day of. So day of consists of battery charging.
Okay.
So our batteries, you know, max run time's about 15 minutes. You know, that's fresh, you know, plug in brand new batteries. But we try to, you know, 8 to 12 minutes. If we're flying over water, we kind of curve it back to 8 minutes because, you know, a drone's $4,000, right? So you have 200 drones, do the math, right? So we, depending on when and where, time of day, we only fly at night, but if it's 75 degrees in Miami, you can get away with a longer show versus 24 degrees in Spokane, like we spoke about earlier. So the drones are affected by weather, temperature 1, 2, wind. Now we've flown in 26, 28 mile an hour winds. We don't like to, but 2 weeks ago we hit the launch button, 100 drones went up in the air, and we had strong gusts and monsoon. It was just a squall came out of nowhere. And we try to, you know, track everything with radar and whatnot, but, you know, if we have a show at 9:30 and it's 9:30 and we hit launch and 10 seconds later a wall of water comes in, but they flew. All went up, all went down.
Oh, man.
Our drones are super robust. But, so back to your original question, day of is battery charging, usually in the morning. But since this is a 100 drone show we're doing tonight, we have 6 chargers. Each charger has a bank of 4, so we can do 24 batteries in an hour. So it'll take us about 4 hours.
There's about, probably at the minimum about 3 weeks of planning and prepping, and that's
Okay.
outside of kind of the event side. Our events department, they are planning at least 6 months to a year ahead of time. And so with that being said, when we're going to, whether it's a festival or even a concert or say it's a race somewhere, no matter what the event is, it's at least, we'd like to have at least 2 to 3 months of preparation because for the design of the show, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to really get it down. And our designers in-house, they're amazing. They can really create anything you can imagine in the sky. But then again, it's a lot of programming and a lot of work behind that.
Oh, yeah, and they got to work with whatever the venue is going to be, and so they have to know, you know, what restrictions they might have, and certainly whoever is contracting this, they go, I'd love this, so there's an awful lot of, you know, beforehand work, and I can see why you need that lead time.
The first thing we look at when Sam talks to a potential client is location. It's like, we had people wanted to do a show in downtown New York City. It's like, not going to happen, because we are not allowed to fly over people. FAA, it's a hard no because our props don't have cages over them, so it's a safety hazard. You get hit with one of those, it could do a lot of damage. So we have a location, and then so we have to have a safety perimeter. Then there's airspace. So when we fly, because of our waivers, multiple and at night, if we're under a controlled airspace, so if we were closer to the airport, that would be controlled airspace.
Sure.
We can't just go out and fly. We have to get written authorization from the FAA, and that's a multiple step process. We put together a proposal, we submit it to the FAA, and they say, yeah, this works. And then they submit it to the tower, who has final approval. On the West Coast here, that can take 2 to 3 weeks. So if somebody says, hey, we want to fly a show tomorrow, it doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
And so you do the planning, and then, you know, there's also height restrictions. So if you're right next to an airport, our general show max ceiling just is 400 feet above ground level, 400 feet AGL. But if they say, hey, you only get 200 feet, that changes the scope of what you can program. You know, a 400-foot show versus a 200-foot show, your imagery is going to change, you know, whether it's 3D or 2D, or you're trying to write, you know, a message in the sky. Think of it as pixel count. You know, we're a 200 pixel image. If you have a 600 pixel image, there's a lot more clarity and depth and more 3D capability. So there's location. Location is one of the biggest ones. Do we have an open air where people are going to see it? Is the FAA going to approve it? Is it in the direct flight path of a 747? Yes or no? So we've all kind of, and that's been a learning process, you know, just, can we fly there? I don't know. And there's various websites that have helped us out and learning and, you know, reaching out to other companies. And so there's a lot that goes into it, but day of is batteries and then setup. So we have to lay everything out in a 5-foot grid. So drones are separated 5 feet. And so if we have a 200 drone show, you know, however you want to lay it out, you know,
Yeah.
10 by 20 or
Usually works out to be about a 75-foot by 75-foot pad.
That's where you start.
So when you're laying out, do you only have one launch, or does some shows you have multiple launches? That means you have to have multiple.
There's a couple
preps.
ways you can do it. You could do multiple launches. So recently at a music festival, our drones were rented out by a partner company, and they did 3 to 5 launches an evening. So what you have to do is you'll have that grid, and these things are accurate when we're sitting in our grid via its GPS. We have a base station, and it's linked to the GPS and the drones, and they're accurate to 1.5 centimeters. I mean, so it's like 0.001 meters, right? Everything's metric when we measure, and so they know exactly where they're at in this, what we call it as the launch grid. And so when they come up and they land, they go right back to where they're at. You know, it might be a little askew if it slid when it lands, but so then what you could do is do battery swap. So we have multiple sets of batteries. So we have 100 drones with us here. We could bring 300 batteries out.
That's got to be worse than a race car.
It is, and so it's a lot of work and a lot of planning. There's the capability of it, but yeah, you would have to program multiple shows, and then a battery swap takes time. So it's not like you're just going to go whoop, 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 you know, but you could have 2 sets of drones. These guys go up and then land, and as soon as they land, you have that other set. So instead of one 200 drone show, you could have 2 100 drone shows back to back and make a 20-minute show.
Wow.
And that's been done. There's so many options.
It's a lot more complex. Multiple sorties like that, getting battery swaps in, playing
A lot of battery charging in that
And
one.
that's an awful lot of
So
computer
this
programming.
is fairly new. I mean, and traditionally for celebrations it is fireworks. But how have you seen the reception towards a drone show versus a fireworks show?
My wife cried at the first show.
Yeah.
Like it's fireworks on YouTube. Pretty cool, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that looks fun. Fireworks in real life. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Drone shows on, you know, social media or YouTube, like, holy crap, that's amazing. In person, it's night and day.
And I think the impact of the drones is a lot more than fireworks. We've been a part of an engagement where it wrote out, "Will you marry me?" And so
we did a custom engagement for.
So we're a part of that, you know, memory, and it was a huge impact, right? It was we did that in Boise. But if it's, you know, a festival or someone's trying to launch a new product, we can send up a scannable QR code in the sky.
Wow.
That's then trackable for our client to see how many hits they're getting on that landing page.
So basically with fireworks, I mean, they can create these nice displays and sometimes create prep patterns, but you're actually creating physical objects basically up in the sky.
Exactly. So when you see a fireworks show and then on Facebook or whatever social media platform you're on and everyone's recording, you're like, really? July 5th, everyone's posting their fireworks on their phone and it's horrible. You're like, yeah, I was there too. Just watch it and enjoy it. Whereas a drone show, there is an image. It's not just bing, bing, boom. It's like, oh my gosh, that was a bow and arrow with the arrow shooting across the sky. We had a fun one we did a few weeks ago just playing around. We made a drone, so it was, you know, sideways, I guess, if you will.
It's like a top view.
With 4 props. And so we had a drone made out of drones. Going across the sky. And it was like the ones on the back of our shirts, looking at it from overhead. And so if you record or take a picture of it, you're always going to say, holy cow, I remember that, versus, okay, there's an explosion in the sky. So it's more memorable, you know, marketing, like, you know, Motorola's, hey, we're doing a new flip phone. We could program that. Or Tesla did their Gigafactory with our same model of drones. They did a 600 drone show, 3D, amazing, made a Tesla truck out of drones. And
even made Nikola Tesla's head, like a bust of the head in the sky.
So since this is all new and a lot of the public hasn't seen, you know,
they don't know about
a show, much less, have you guys just done any sort of behind the scene kind of documentary where you go, this is what goes into this show, that you can market towards the show?
So that's something we are continuing working on, like pretty much every day. And so every day we're able to go fly a show or even program or even just working on the drone, say a propeller broke or a leg broke. We always try to capture that content to really cultivate kind of the overall process of it. And so with going on the design aspect, really anything you could imagine with the right amount of drones we could put in the sky. I could even try to find a way to make your face in the sky if we had enough drones to do that. So really,
let's not do that.
It's been an amazing process, and we're super thankful for our partner, ICCU, to help us out kind of getting this all started, because we've partnered with them over the past couple of years, and they've been a tremendous help with not only our community engagements for our events, but then again with getting this out for the community and for a lot of the things that they're doing out there. So it's been amazing, and really the options are endless.
Yeah, without ICCU, this would not have been happening here in the Boise, Idaho area.
Well, that's great.
I think the biggest thing for us is just the education standpoint, because when someone comes up to me and they're like, "What do you do for work?" I was like, "Oh, I work at a drone company." They immediately think a DJI Mavic doing like a land survey or real estate or whatever. And so then I'm like, to whip out my phone, show them a video, and it's kind of that rinse and repeat. But yeah, I think that's been our biggest, not hurdle, but just biggest education standpoint.
Nobody knows what it is.
Well, and again, it's so new. I have not seen one yet. So imagine when you try to market your services, a lot of people go, I don't even know what you're talking about.
They don't. And we say, did you see the Olympics? Some people who haven't seen the Olympics or
that was phenomenal,
right? Or China or whatever. It's the Chinese and the Russian play a different set of flight rules, so they're doing like 3,000 drones, and it's pure chaos with a 5,000 people laying out drones.
Programmed chaos.
It is amazing. There's some amazing stuff out there, but most people don't know about it. I mean, my little ego. There's more astronauts than there are people do what I do. But they're way better people than me. But it's just kind of fun. Like, that's how niche or small it is. Because I used to be a truck driver, but I have lots of studying in aviation and whatnot, and we have other goals to buy an airplane for our company and fly that. But the drones, it's so, like I said at the beginning, you can't just hop on YouTube and learn how to start this company. The behind the scenes is, for a 10-minute show, there are so many hours of research, communication, programming, legwork, physical work. And, there's it's 100 degrees out. I did a show, I was a part of a show at the Louis Vuitton in Miami, so that was kind of fancy. But it was, it's 100 degrees and you're on asphalt and you're sweating. But when those drones go up for that 10 minutes, it's amazing. Well, Burning Man was only an 8-minute show, but at the end.
So you're aware that Idaho State University has a UAS program, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering if there's any way that we could get just a little snippet of what you guys do.
Yeah. If you guys want to come out to location today, we can make that work.
Yeah, and we'll be doing.
We're done with this. We can facilitate that.
We'll be doing a lot of different shows down in this area, and so it would be kind of a coordination aspect. And then again, you could reach out to Sam, and then we could gather a whole bunch of just different information and videos of kind of the whole process for the more educational point.
Right.
And so we
awesome.
really enjoy that aspect of things.
It's fun because people come out and we do. So before a show, like you were saying, day of, battery charging and then setup. So we set up our launch grid, and then we have what's called our base station, which has our satellite antenna, and then communication with the drones, multiple communication, and we have a little generator out there to supply power. But then we power on the units, and then we upload the show, and then we verify the show's there, and then we do like pre-flight tests. Is the radio communication working? Do we have GPS fixed? Do we have magnetic heading? Because these are all parts of the show. If we don't have true north, our drones, they won't fly. It's very 12 we were doing a test down in, was that Santa Barbara? Where were we?
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach. Can't say where. That's a top secret show in the future. But we were on location and we could not acquire satellite. And so before a show, we fly out to verify that we can fly there. and we have to have satellite fix and magnetic heading. Those are the two main things. Everything else you can kind of work out. And I called, like the manufacturer. I go, what's going on? They're like, you having a hard time? I go, yeah. They go, this was during like at the height when the war in Russia was going on.
Yeah.
And, well, the satellites in Russia, I'm like, are you serious? And something that normally takes 5-10 minutes, it took us over an hour, and we're like on top of this building, like, what is going on? And then I'm like, you're joking with me. He's like, no, because we didn't have enough satellites to, triangulate, if you will, because we need to have like 12 satellites. That's how accurate these things are. And we did a show in Puerto Rico for the Miss World, Miss Universe, and we flew over the ocean. And it was just whipping winds. And what's amazing is like these things are going to get tossed rock solid.
Really?
They are that strong. And so specs on the drone, they're 1,200 grams. They're quadcopter, carbon fiber frame, but they are robust.
Good gyros.
Oh man, the technology in this, they're insane.
Yeah.
But we want to have you guys come out tonight, tomorrow. If you guys want to come out on site.
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to do it.
I know it's last minute.
But maybe next time you're in town.
Definitely.
Again, we can coordinate with Mark Sharp from the UAS program, and maybe if it's okay with you guys, get some students
100%
there. Because I know Mark's very excited about, I can see James, you just light up when you start talking.
Fun.
You just light up when you start talking about this stuff.
Yeah,
it is pretty cool.
When
Thank you for that offer.
Because I'm like under it, right? I'm right there at the controls, and you feel them. Not only, and then there's a lot of wind, and you just, and you're just like, this is so cool. And because I want to. I want to record, so a lot of our other employees have a ton of content, and you need to do your Instagram, and I'm just like, I'm responsible for this, So if an aircraft comes into my airspace, we have a kill switch, we have a return to home switch. It's like, hey, let's return them. But the kill switch, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's called Execute Order 66 is the password. We have to, we are killing the Jedi to bring these down, and they go down over water or whatever, and that luckily we've never had to do it, but we have other options. We can turn all the lights on, or whatever. It's like flash, like, hey, you're coming into my airspace. But emergencies happen. But no, it's well. Another fun thing we do before we do hover test. So we have multiple show files, and so they're all on a grid. And it's a 1 meter hover test, and we verify they're going to launch. And then if we got a bad guy, we swap them out. That's why we always have spares. For a 200 drone show, we probably have 15 spares, and so we actually fly with 185 and have those 15 for backup. Like, hey, this guy's battery is being weird, or the satellite's being an issue, and it's usually a simple fix. Even broken legs. So we have legs that are replaceable, arms that are replaceable, props. The props. When we first started doing it, we'd all have like bleeding hands and stuff because they're sharp and they're strong. It's like technique but no, we'd love to have people out there and just get the word on the street. It's a lot of fun.
So if someone wanted to reach out to you guys, they're interested in the show, they just want to get more information, how would they do that?
So there's a couple different methods. For instance, you could reach out to goagency.com as well as godroadshows.com. And then Sam, he's our #1 communicator with everybody within the outreach and kind of on that business to business as well as community aspect of it as well. And so you can...
So thegoagency.com and godroneshows.com.
And my email is sam@thegoagency.com. So
excellent.
Pretty easy.
We'll provide those links and those connections when we post this.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, you heard the alarm go off. This is just too good to shut off at 20 minutes.
You can edit.
Wait, I love hearing about Dad under the angel breath, incredible stories, and there's so much here. We obviously didn't get to enough, and maybe there's room for more discussion later, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thanks to the Go Agency. Thanks to the three of you.
Thank you.
Carson, James, Sam, for showing up out here and being so forthcoming and talking to us about drones and what you do. It's very exciting. And for those of you in the audience out there, it's more than just buttons. There's so much technology in this today, so many opportunities, and we don't know where drones are going to go. I mean, the future of drones is wide open. There's a drone on Mars right now, so it's incredible. Come watch the shows, come see what these guys do, and thanks to our audience for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. Thank you again, and we have an awful lot to be grateful for here. If you need to reach out for us, and we do appreciate the feedback from everybody in the audience, you can reach us at cetrain.isu.edu, or you can email us at cetrain@isu.edu. Of course, if anybody wants to give us a call, to 208-282-3372. We've had a great show here. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of this.
Thank you.
We'll get this posted out here very shortly. To everybody in the audience, you all be safe out there. Thanks for joining Sweet Talk.